These two sides prepared to bring the thunder. In the Atlantic Division tonight, American Legion Memorial Stadium, the site in Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome to tonight's match presented by Novant Health. Novant Health making healthcare remarkable. A remarkable matchup ahead. Charlotte and Miami. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr with you on this rainy North Carolina night. And here are the Birdsong Brewing Company Atlantic Division standings. Right now, if you're Charlotte and Miami, you feel pretty confident you're going to the playoffs, but a win for Charlotte certainly gives them more breathing room. For Miami, you could be chasing Pittsburgh.
Especially as Red Bull 2 are currently leading the Charleston Battery 2-0. Miami FC control their own destiny when it comes to the number 2 spot. But what do the Charlotte Independents have in store for us? They have been on a glorious run, and it comes down to a couple of players, but we want to talk about one, specifically Irvin Parr, currently sitting on 38 regular season goals, getting ready to hit another milestone, and he's having a career season. Or is he? He's starting to replicate numbers that we've seen in Las Vegas in 2019, had 15 goals and 7 assists this year. Remember, he was the first person to ever hit the double-double. That's double digits in goals and assists. More importantly, he's got weapons around him. Him not having to carry the brunt of the offense has allowed him to really dive deep into the well, have a bit more fun in the final third. More importantly, he opens up the rest of this offense so that they can tick 15, 20 yards from net.
And he'll make long-distance calls with his boots, too. Meanwhile, Paco Craig, certainly a player to watch in his own right. Is there a better defender in the league, in the East especially, so far this year?
In terms of a center back, no. That is your number 1 center back in the East. His coach knows it. Opposing coaches know it. Now, how do you play through him? You don't. You find a way to play around him and away from him. 107 clearances coming off the back line. That's tied for first in the league. Guess what? He's second in terms of passes for distribution. His old running mate, Sean Tosh in Louisville, number 1. The guy sprays the ball left and right. He can do no wrong. And by the way, he's trilingual.
Yeah, and Paco's got that hair. Perhaps he should have been the Great Clips player to watch. We've got lineups in kickoff. Charlotte and Miami, a game that needs no further introduction when we return.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Hey guys, this is Gabby Douglas. If you have an active lifestyle like me, hydration is key. That's why I love the Hydration Watermelon Smoothie from Smoothie King. With more electrolytes than some of the leading sports drinks, it's a cleaner way to hydrate and recover, with no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. So try the Hydration Watermelon Smoothie from Smoothie King. Order online for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Fun fact, you know Mountain Dew and spicy chicken is the perfect combo?
Does it look like I don't know that?
Okay. Didn't mean to ruffle your feathers.
You know, we both did the employee training, Gary.
Okay, don't jump down my beak.
Doing spicy? Do the do.
There are currently 2 million American spouses and children whose family member was killed or disabled in defense of our country, which is why I founded the Folds of Honor, providing educational scholarships to the families of 1% of the Americans who protect our freedom.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Please join our squadron today. Your $13 a month speaks volumes and changes lives forever.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Welcome back to tonight's match here in Charlotte. American Legion Memorial Stadium. Independents taking on Miami. And it's presented by Novant Health. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr. We take a look at the lineups. They're brought to you by Adidas. For Charlotte, they welcome back Kevin Riascos and Jake Armand to the 11.
They also welcome back the familiar three-back system that allows them to explode out on the wings. Jake Armand, one of those. Joel Johnson, and the combination play between he and Sylvain Marveau is next level in that duo. Irvin Parra, we've spoken about him. But what does the role for Enzo Martinez look like tonight? Does he come more onto the interior? Does he allow this front three to stretch itself out? That is very much game to game. Christian Fuchs and his ability to distribute from the back line is not next level, Mike. It's not fair. That's how good he's been this season.
Meanwhile, for Miami, they've made a trio of changes. Perez makes his first start for the side, the Salvadoran international.
The right side for Dalglish is going to be tested, as is the left. So where does the balance come for the two outside backs? You have to be oh so careful as Charlotte Independents send those waves of transition. And what does it look like for Walker, De Silva, and Perez? All of them can play on the front line. All of them can play in the middle. But with Cristiano Francois, you would imagine that he stays on the right with that quick speed to cut to the interior.
Paul Dalglish looks on as his Miami FC prepares for opening kickoff tonight. 44-year-old manager in his 11th year as a head coach. Underway, big game in the Atlantic. After nearly an hour-long delay, it is the Charlotte Independents and the Miami FC. Early touch here, long-range missile. Soars out of play. Devin, you got to watch that man. He can hit a ball as well as anybody.
Well, especially considering the conditions. Anybody who's got an opportunity to have a strike from distance, that 20, 25, 30 yards range, go after the goalkeeper right now. Catch a little pitch off the top of the turf. Gabriel happy to have a go early on.
Roberts waits and picked up by Pack. Out over Armin. Let's take a look at the injury report. It's presented by Novant Health. Notably out tonight, still Brandon Miller in the back for Charlotte Independents. Othello Ba, Luke Antonelli did not make the trip. Richard Ballard remains out.
Gotta love the fact that Chris Cortez has made his way into a Miami FC argument. I think that argument will also be, can he bring up any sort of what we saw in the run under Phoenix Rising in 2018. They've been looking for a 9 all season. As the year has gone on, they've become less and less needed in that position, though it never hurts to add a little depth up top.
Martinez. Racing over was Roberts. It's taken over here by Miami. Speedy Williams lost his footing, and in steps Overton. Armin, there's a tackle there. And a free kick conceded by De Silva. Let's take a look at the keys to the game for you, Devin. They're brought to you by Gatorade. Don't forget to stretch, Charlotte.
That just goes back to the comments about Christian Fuchs on the back line. Every single game that he steps in, 93, 95, 97% passing accuracy. One of the best left foots in the game. You listen to the scouting report in the Premier League since he's come to the United States, all over. They brought him here for a reason. Watch him distribute, because those long balls and the stretching from side to side is where they get it right. Be right, not wrong. That's the right side of the Charlotte Independents, making sure that Miami FC shut it down. You want to make sure you push them away, make them have balance, because the left side does not carry as much of an offensive powerhouse as the right.
Fuchs. Roberts. Enviable position alongside those two in the back. Riascos. Walker chasing.
Keep an eye on the shape for Miami FC early on, Mike. The one that is going to stay notable on the inside is Akinyoti standing over the ball now. He will have little steps coming out of the middle. They've got such a good tit for tat when it comes in that space and the awareness because of Speedy Williams and the recognition that when one steps, the other stays. It can turn into a double pivot. They can play off of each other. But then Josh Perez, where does he slide in? Right now, he is starting to move towards that right flank and the front line, but he's also tucking in underneath Lamar Walker. That's one of the luxuries you get when you've got the three of Perez, Walker, and De Silva, because they can all occupy similar space, but in their own entity as well.
Para chasing fruitlessly. Sparrow. Roberts. Perez got under it. De Silva, however, the one charging forward. De Silva kept this in. Perez. Palacios. Williams. And back to Chapman Page. Miami 9 unbeaten. Unbeaten in 14 of 15 games. Very few in the league right now could argue they're in better form than Miami FC. Marveau.
Pretty sure team sitting at the top of the division may have something to say about that.
I said very few. Charlotte's got 1 loss in their last 10, so they're in a similar neck of the woods. And it started to allow this Atlantic division to stratify a little bit, because it sure looked like a 3, maybe 4-horse race for the final 2 playoff spots. That seems far less assured now. Both teams facing about 8 games to go. There's room to run into here. De Silva peels this further. Francois got underneath Pack and spared his blushes that this self got caught in no man's land as well.
They have moved him over to that left side with the ability to cut in. A bit unfamiliar when it comes to his role within this system for Miami FC, but there's that little drop down. Check the 3 players that I just talked to you about. Lamar Walker has stepped up. He assumes the role of the number 9. Pierre De Silva comes into the playmaking role. Josh Perez peels off to that back post run. You'll see him a lot on that right-hand side. He's so comfortable playing on the inside as a midfielder, stretching onto the wing, and then pushing up front onto that front line.
Marveau was bucked off the ball by Craig.
Help him underneath, Lamar.
Hung up well there for Perez. Speedy Williams, the full Jamaican international. His former teammate and current teammate, previously at Louisville, now here in Miami. Francois. Denied by Riascos. Williams ahead, header forward, Perez, Pack pushes it out.
Some kind of ball up over the top here. Beautiful separation by Josh Perez just to get in behind Jake Arman. He's got to be better, get goal side. Same size when it comes to the physical battle, but speed much better in those first couple of steps. And how about the ball by Speedy Williams? That's some kind of vision.
Reminds you a bit of the goal scored in the 2017 final off a set piece.
Good shout.
Chick-fil-A corner. Craig. Second bite of the apple here for Miami. Cross Akinyoti, but it won't count. Apparently the ball back to De Silva was offside, because certainly Akinyoti wasn't.
It's definitely not the flick on. It's from the outside right here, right? Where's the argument? Watch the second ball. Watch the second ball right here. Was he in an offside position when that ball came back out to him?
Hey, who played the ball?
That's the question, is when this touch...
Come on, Rick, hey!
When the touch comes back outside and you get the step coming off of the corner, is he in an offside position? That's the real question.
Williams. Agugnoti. Miami likely thought there was some advantage there. Enzo Martinez having words with Pierre da Silva. Shall we look again, Devin?
Yeah, again, it's the second ball after the little 50-50 on Paco Craig. There's the touch there. Don't see it. Again, still don't see it. You've got Brant Bronico, who was standing on the near post. He steps up. That's a conversation for the linesman at halftime with the assessor. I'm out of it.
Da Silva. Fuchs.
Still a promising start for Miami FC. Much better than the last game that was here.
These teams met 3 weeks ago. Charlotte hosting the 4th and final meeting between these sides. It's been an odd couple of experiences these last 2 games between the sides, where I think both sides felt like they owned significant portions of the game.
Kind of funny how that works out, doesn't it? A lot of that going around the league right now. those involved shall remain nameless.
Devin.
It's too early. Yeah. You can't dig your own grave 11 minutes into a match.
Nope.
Or can you? We got a couple guys floating around the record book. Might as well toss my name into the mix.
Devin Kerr, first to be red carded from a telecast in USL Championship history.
Stranger things have happened. Look how deep Enzo Martinez is. 11 minutes into a game. We have become accustomed to seeing that over the seasons. This year, it's a different role for him. He's usually much higher in attack. You hope that's not frustration early on.
Para tees this up. Overtime! Surely that counts! A player who surely knows the devil is in the details. A Devil's Logic brewing goal. Hit magnificently from distance. Charlotte leads.
And yet still, we talk about whether or not it's frustration by Martinez, but he starts the entire sequence. Drops way down in, and look at the space that's being occupied now. Jake Arman gets the initial ball. Para slides over. The two of them on the little back and forth, and then all of a sudden, there's the rotation by Overton. Last game in the 4-2-3-1, he was playing as an outside mid, not as effective as they'd like him to be. Could he go back-to-back in starts at his age, 32? Why not? Give it to him, the little pinch back to the inside, and then you could see the top quality that is the Frenchman into the bottom corner.
Comes in the 12th minute. His first USL Championship goal was signed just over a month ago. Notably spent 3 years on the books at Manchester United. Spent a brief amount of time at Clairefontaine as well. A French development setup for the national team. As this will float all the way through toward Pack. And for Overton, let's be honest here, Devin. I mean, I think a lot of coaches in the league are going, how did Charlotte get all 3 of these players in such a short amount of time? Fuchs, Overton, and Marveau.
That's put more eloquently than I said it out loud. I just kind of looked up and went, huh?
Well, it appears we're having some technical difficulties here. And just as soon as we say that, it appears we've recovered our video as well. Irvin Para took a bit of a knock here a moment ago, as the fans saw quite clearly. He's back up and makes his way over toward the touchline.
How nice for him in that point man spot to look back behind you, and it's Enzo Martinez, Sylvain Marveau, Oberton coming through, the Loney, Brent Bronico, Joel Johnson in the overlapping runs. It's a bit different of a view than he's experienced over the past couple of years. True testament to him as a professional. You always heard what high quality Irvin Parra could bring to a team. There were some other stories that floated around at times, and you never really knew what to believe, right, Mike? But all you hear are the greatest words of encouragement and praise when it comes to someone like Irvin Parra and the role that he plays within the Charlotte Independents.
Parra came in primed for a big season, even with Dane Kelly, the league's all-time leading goal scorer, coming in from Israel mid-season, maintained the starting role, and Parra, 10 goals. He won't get another double-double season. I don't foresee 8 more assists, but I don't know that that would really be the mark of a great season for Parra. Quarter hour gone. First goal for Gabriel Oberton in the USL Championship in the 12th minute. Sees the Independents ahead in this vital clash. Perez. Palacios. Well, this is a Palacios foul. He and Armin slap hands after the fact. Devin, let's try and put this game into perspective, right? Because we look at the Atlantic Division, but the context of third or fourth, should Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay finish first and second, doesn't get you a home playoff game in the first round. But you're likely trying to avoid going to Louisville in the first round, who appear to have a pretty clear path to the #1 seed in the Central. Instead, you'd either see Tulsa or Birmingham. Much different load there.
With also the understanding that because of the tweak in the playoff setup this year, you're not just looking at seeding in the first round, you're looking at overall points, because overall points are what take precedent in the second round. So you could be the 3 seed, for instance, if you're Miami right now. You're the 3 seed on 42 points. You win something tonight, you step up a little bit. You could be the 3 seed traveling to a 1 and have more points. That's the way that it works out. I mean, that could also be flipped where the 2 could go to, you know, there's a million different scenarios you could play out there. But after you go 2v3, 1v4, so on and so forth in the first round, when you hit the second round of games, just because you were a higher seed in that opening round game does not mean that you're going to have to go on the road back-to-back games. So you still want to acquire as many points as possible, even if you think the Tampa Bay Rowdies are out of reach. Which, to be fair, if I had to bet my money, I'm saying that the Rowdies are getting the #1 in the Atlantic. I think that gap is just, it's too far between everybody. You can look at the numbers between Pittsburgh and the Rowdies, but the Rowdies have 2 games in hand, and they still hold a 5-point margin.
And it does appear the way Loudoun and Red Bull have hemorrhaged goals this year. The offside flag goes up here. The top teams in the Atlantic are likely to have a more inflated number of points than the Central. It's not to say the Central doesn't have its weak points, but it does appear the points are a little more evenly spread once you get beyond second, third, maybe fourth.
Also, when it comes down to tiebreakers right now, if you talk about that 3 and 4 seed, if for any reason they ended up being squared up, Miami currently holds the tiebreaker on Charlotte.
Head-to-head?
Because it comes down to head-to-head goal differential, not overall goal differential. And that's where Miami stands supreme, at least right now.
Let's look at beyond Martinez. Miami drives ahead. Walker. Roberts. That's a sly step.
They are asking Jake Armand to cover a lot of ground on this left side.
What else is new?
Yeah, but chasing up and down against Perez is not exactly what I'd be looking for, because he was just 40 yards the other direction. Now he's already surpassed the run and moving forward. It's great, but to do that for 90 minutes, it's not impossible. It's a bit questionable, though.
Palacios had this lop off of him lead to a Charlotte corner.
I'm sure he's going to feel a bit frustrated when he goes back and checks the video on that goal that should have been.
Akinyoti's goal about 3-4 minutes before Charlotte scored, wiped off for an offside that'll go to the dubious offside committee. Arman bounces all the way through with perhaps a slight touch en route. Is it true that the dubious offside committee is located in the adjacent conference room to the dubious goals committee?
Rumor has it it's one of, actually it's got the adjoining doors with the double locks on either side. So even if you get through the one, you have to know the secret handshake. There's actually a code, and based upon where you hit on the door, the tone is different. You got to hit it just on key for it to spring open.
What an odd Motel 6 we spend our time at. Arman glides by Palacios, slides ahead, Joel Johnson. Sparrow lets it by.
The space just underneath this right side. We were just talking about Josh Perez and as he moves high, but on the inside, you've got Speedy Williams and Akinyoti pretty flat trying to play off of each other. We understand that. But that means you've got one midfielder tucked in, which right now, Pierre da Silva is doing a lot of the chasing in there. And if he doesn't come all the way back over, it's really easy to step in behind Perez and move into that space because there's no one from Miami FC there. That's got to be a conversation between your two center backs and Paco Craig and Callan Chapman-Page, asking one of the midfielders, you don't have to step to the player, just step to the space. Eliminate the option for Charlotte to occupy that territory.
Just got out over the touchline. There's Joel Johnson. It's been a brief amount of time on the Real Madrid payroll. He had one appearance in La Liga, but primarily spent much of his career before coming to Charlotte 6 years ago in the lower divisions in Spain. Para. Whoa. Walker pouring over the top of Brant Bronico. Bronico saying that's one try too many from Walker. Referee agrees it's 2, but apparently the marker for going into the book will be 3.
There's that little touch in. Start to slide over. To be fair, he kind of steps in front of him.
Yeah,
You're asking for contact if you're Bronico.
Bronico's not entirely innocent in this affair, is he?
No. More of a tryst than an affair, though, isn't it? At least we think they're still friends 22 minutes in.
Anytime you've played a team 4 times in 4 months, I'm pretty confident there are no more friends. As Drake would say, no new friends. Fuchs. Pack. Johnson. Bronico. Williams. Paco Craig, ill-fated pass. Oberthon scored the opener in this game in the 12th minute. Johnson lashes this across, handled here by Sparrow. Roberts. Bronico kept that out of harm's way for a brief respite. Perez is making a run through. Walker turns. This will get out. Devin, there's something I've been meaning to tell you.
Tell me.
Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship, League One, and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit SelectSportAmerica.com.
Is the last time that you touched a Select ball the 19 final? When we had you do
the
pens?
flat one.
That's a good one. Was it the penalties we did at training with Louisville?
Oy vey.
all of a sudden you're back in the pocket with all the footballing phrases. I'm here for it. I feel like you have to have been at my house, or we had to have been on the road knocking a ball in a hotel room, but no, I can't remember.
No?
Might be for the best.
Marveau. Sparrow firmly grasps it. Intercepted Martinez. Bronico. Unable to make any more headway. Am I correct in saying there was a recent Enzo Martinez scoring change from 5 years ago that just came through?
2016, instead of Enzo Martinez picking up the goal, it was actually given to his
brother Alex.
I was going to say then brother. Obviously, they're still brothers, but then teammate brother Alex. So Enzo Martinez coming into the night, we thought had a chance to hit 40. In fact, he's already got 40 goals.
Attack is on here dangerously. Just clipped away on Marveau's attempt. So congratulations to Enzo Martinez for his already scored 40th USL Championship regular season goal. But just to confirm, in 2018, the second yellow that Enzo Martinez received for going into the stands and taking his shirt off after scoring a late game-winning goal, that's still Enzo,
that's
right?
Still there. That's part of the statistical category that lives and breathes in the yellow and red cards.
This is a hair behind Para. Still the greatest red card I've ever been a part of.
Better than El Chalice?
Well,
hang on here.
And LAFC's in Champions League, the Club America red card.
Well, yeah, okay.
And, well, both red cards involved in that game. The coach, the player.
Someone should really be keeping a list of all these.
Pepsi Cola is the official soft drink of the Charlotte Independents. Enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi at your next Independence game. Pepsi, born in the Carolinas.
There's a great job being done right now by the Charlotte Independents defensively, even though they're up 1-0 and they're creating. If you want to watch the ideas really come into play for them, it's tracking behind the ball and the rotation coming off of their offensive movements. When they drop back behind, they've got plenty of numbers. More importantly, they're isolating the movements coming forward for Miami FC. So as you get a Speedy Williams or an Akinyoti try and spray it wide, they're usually actually playing off another midfielder. And if they do go forward and find De Silva or Francois or Perez, whoever's on that front line, it's a one-off. There's no supporting role for them underneath. I mean, this is a great mismatch. Just look to the right side of your screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6v3. If you move into the midfield, you've got the same argument. You're matched one-on-one. So on the deepest route that you can go, you've got numbers, and then you step up. Everybody's already closed that off as well. It's very difficult for Miami to play through the inside. That's why you see a lot of the back and forth and then just one of those long balls over the top hit with hope.
Palacios began play. Free kick, Miami. This is an argument that will go without closed captioning.
getting involved.
I'm not sure it's the Martinez effort. It's
before the little tug.
Bronico.
Yeah. Not a lot in it, but.
De Silva in the 30th minute. There's Pack. Nearly an hour-long delay to kickoff tonight. Thunder and lightning in the area. Hopefully it's passed. Radar looks a lot less like a Picasso painting at this stage.
Oh, they've switched back now. Cristiano Francois over to this right side. That'll allow their presence up top. Heck of a tackle by Chapman Page, but that'll allow the presence on this right side to push a bit higher. The problem they're having is the mismatch on the interior. I feel for Dalglish right now because he's asking his players to not only play quicker when they have the ball, but to react quicker when they've given it up, and he's not getting that. So they're slow in the build, slow in reaction, and it's very easy for the Independents to pick it up, and they're going from a 3-4-3 to a 4-5-1. They're going to a 3-6-1. They're overloading the middle, which is the most important thing here because Miami just don't have the numbers to counteract it.
Play continues with advantage. Para drives. Para denied by Paco Craig. Oberton remains down well behind the play. Paco Craig ranging over well, but the previous tackle by Chapman Page draw an additional view.
Watch the studs up on the back left foot as Chapman Page comes through here. There's the touch. Clips him. Look to impede his run, in my opinion. And I very rarely, use the word opinion, Mike, but I'm no physics major. There looked to be an obstruction there, no?
Well, they ultimately played advantage, and the referee did pull a card for Chapman Page as well. Yellow card brought to you by Devil's Logic Brewing.
That's better. It's the right decision.
There was a chance there for Para that blossomed from that. Chick-fil-A corner. Armin again bounced all the way through, and Riascos shed his mark.
Pepsi is the official soft drink of the Charlotte Independents. Pepsi, born in the Carolinas.
Long ball. Roberts, good glancing touch on the run. 32 minutes in, Devin. You could argue it should be 1-1. Regardless of the score line, what do you make of the action we've seen so far?
Advantage Charlotte. They're controlling the game. The other side of that is, no matter how good they look defensively, it's only a 1-goal margin. And a lot of this, to be fair, is very similar to the matchup we saw on September 4th. Now, Paul Dalglish felt like they were a little bit better than we did. I think that's probably fair to say, right?
I'll leave the opinions to you.
Okay. I'll say that Paul Dalglish felt like they were a little bit better than I did. And even in that match, when a lot of the opportunities did come from the Independents, that ended 2-2, and it came from a late goal, and I understand that. But if you don't create any sort of separation, there's too much talent on a team like Miami to allow them to sit around. And they will work their way back into this game. He's trying to find the routes to play through. We've already seen the switch by Francois back over to the side. The key for me right now is finding a way to get Pierre da Silva involved in the run of play, and they have not been able to do that.
Is that moving his starting point or trying to play the ball into him where he begins?
It's kind of a little bit of both, to be honest. So they've taken Francois, moved him to the right. The issue they're having is the movement by Francois and Perez because Da Silva becomes isolated. Now when he comes deep in this situation, now he has the opportunity to pick and choose where he wants to go. If he's left as the lone striker up top, that's not what Miami FC is looking for. They're looking to play off of him, not through him, and there is a difference. They want the ball into him with options around, not to come through, spin, and then let him go and him find someone running down into the channel. There's just way too much separation between the three, and then I already talked about the fact that Akinyoti and Speedy Williams are pretty flat. I don't disagree with that defensively, but that just means that there's only one outlet right now with Lamar Walker on the inside right there. And if that's not on, there's no other option, which usually means that lane is getting closed down and then Charlotte goes the other direction.
De Silva. Martinez has covered a lot of ground at this stage. Speedy Williams. In goes Bronico. It's a bit overzealous. You could see him barking. Now you can see his bite. Akinyoti trying to separate the sides. Now Para, Akinyoti, and Craig have a disagreement.
Brent Bronico does really get a stranglehold on the arm of Speedy Williams as he's got a nice little turn, little pivot, drops that left shoulder, brings it back across the right side for him, and Bronico locks up over the left shoulder of Speedy Williams. It's the argument from Paul Dalglish as well. He's saying, look, you do it on one side, how not come back and do the same thing? Let's at least be apples for apples. There's a better look. Good move by Speedy Williams. Bronico knows it. He's getting pulled. On the other side, a couple of words. I'm with him on that one. With that movement, that's got to be a yellow.
De Silva, Chapman Page. This will be a goal kick. By the way, peek behind the curtain, Devin. There was an ongoing discussion tonight about what a quarter zip is among our production team. And one of our producers was unaware.
Didn't know.
I give you Paul Dalglish at a quarter zip.
Is that concerning that they didn't know?
Yes. Riascos chases back.
Is it more concerning that they didn't know or that they wear them and didn't know?
Meanwhile, short sleeve button down shirt as always for Mike Jeffries. Rain, shine, it's like the U.S. Postal Service. He'll always deliver a short sleeve button down shirt.
I wonder what the dry cleaning bill is like for that.
That was a discussion we've had recently with Coach Jeffries as well. He suggested that it was a lot of money down the drain over the years. Wanted to play quickly, Charlotte unable to. But it is well pressed.
Never a doubt. I don't know if I've ever seen the same one either. The banana one he had on 2 or 3 weeks ago was...
I believe it was against Miami.
Touching. Loved it.
There's a lot of commentary about the banana peel shirt. Marvel.
This team just has so many different dimensions now, Mike.
It does. Wait till we tell you about some Scandinavian swimmers. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
Catch you on the other side of the break for that one.
Yep. Bull roll back here, Sparrow. De Silva.
Now you go. Look at the space behind.
Running onto it, Walker, and that's good from Pack. Good read.
But that's one of the movements, Mike, for Miami FC that they are going to find success in right now. When you draw the Charlotte Independents out, I don't care if they have the ball or not.
Ball at Johnson, trying around the keeper. Sparrow slides in the nick of time. Whoa. Joel Johnson in a 3-back as a wing-back is a fascinating specimen. Can do so much up and down the line. Meanwhile, the other way, Francois crossing. That's away Roberts. This blasted out of play by Walker.
Now it's opening up, huh? Little fun on both ends.
Appears to be some dissent after the fact here, because Armin, to be fair, Enzo Martinez as well, seem to have some issue.
Well, this is quickly moving in a direction for both teams that don't necessarily want to follow suit on. That's some kind of ball played through by Enzo Martinez to find Joel Johnson. Love how you can get him that wide, cutting to the inside, and still he's got the wherewithal to touch it around the goalkeeper, or at least try. And the reaction by Connor Sparrow to come this far off your line and make contact and not have it touch your hands. Very impressive.
Francois aggressively. Walker. Perez was at the back post. Thumbs up on both ends of that missed connection. The idea was good.
Check the separation by Enzo Martinez. Sees the streaking run. Joel Johnson cuts in. Watch Connor Sparrow. Oh, see, I've gone back. I got it behind the scenes, Mike. I've looked 3 times. I can't tell if that's his elbow or not.
That's the first time I've seen it, and I'm going to suggest the answer is yes. All right, let's go one more time.
I'll give you one more look at it. There's contact with the foot for sure. Right here, Johnson around, foot. That could be the knee.
That is saved by the bell to have 3 orange shirts pull through at the exact moment.
That's very much a not enough evidence to overturn if we're playing American football. Call stands, right?
Yeah, Ty Pennington says move that bus, and well, that's on tape, folks. There's no fixing that.
That's a handball. To be fair, though, even Sparrow coming that far off, I mean, that's a well-weighted ball by Enzo Martinez, because it checks up with the elements. I mean, coming in, having a conversation with both coaches, understanding what this pitch was going to be like. Paul Dalglish thought it was going to be a bit slower, right? Traditionally, it has slowed down for them, but felt like with the precipitation, it was going to speed the game up. It did, and yet still, on Charlotte's side, that ball checks. It allows Johnson to get on the end of it.
Turned over, and it's Marveau. Again, a missed connection with Para, and here comes Sparrow flying out of his nest. Joel Johnson to throw. I'll say this about Joel Johnson. You and I have obviously seen him play now for the better part of a half decade. I asked Mike Jeffries yesterday.
Lord, am I that old? Okay, keep going.
Asked who's perhaps underappreciated right now, or not talked about enough. And he goes, look, man of the match last game, sure. Joel Johnson has been a linchpin to what they're trying to do this year. Look at Walker. Walker runs with good form. Chest out.
Conversation about him all season long has been fine-tuning the skill set. It's not that he doesn't have the tricks of the trade. It's more so how do you take those and now make it profitable for Miami FC. Some quality goals this season, but given that talent pool that he has to work with, you would think that some of those numbers might be higher. To be fair, you can play him in a variety of positions, but right now as you're nearing the final stretch of the season, I would think maybe that role might be more defined. You and I talked coming in, it's not a very deep team, is it? They've got a lot of skill, but if you really look at the positions, Akinyoti and Speedy can fulfill the same role. Speedy can step up, wouldn't necessarily move Akinyoti into an 8-10 type spot, at least not within this team. A lot of guys that can play in a 10-ish type role. A couple guys on the front line, but if one gets hurt, I mean, last time out they only had 6 subs. If one gets hurt, they don't have the luxury of digging deeper into the bench.
I mean, the good news is Othello Ba and Richard Ballard are expected back in the mix here in the next week or two. But what things look like moving forward for Luca Antonelli, certainly Roseboom would have been a significant addition this year, but it hasn't been around the side. So
it's also the ages in load management. Look at Ariel Martinez. Although, and I agree with Paul Dalglish on this one, he's a freak of nature.
Yeah, he is an ageless wonder.
The ever-ready bunny who never stops unless you physically take him off the field.
Bronico helped to push that away. Pack. Ooh. Roberts feeling himself. Now ushered on to Johnson. This all started with a really slick move by the center back, something Devin wishes was said more often in this game. Arman. Ball ahead, Overton won't get there. Sparrow slides out. Marveau on the same wavelength, however, as Overton.
Some really good ideas by the Independents. They were trying to get this all the way to the back post sooner. Jake Arman, loads of room to work with. Johnson couldn't get it onto the left foot and bring it across. That's a good job of Miami FC on the far side, though, Mike, recognizing where the scouting report is. Keep Johnson pushed to the inside. If he gets it to his right foot, he can hit it first time. Instead, you bring him to the interior. They know he wants to shy away from that left foot, so then he's looking for a combination play. By the time you get it back outside, they've recovered numbers, and the last one to get into it is the back post run to mark up Jake Arman. That's fine, because that's the furthest threat from the ball.
First of 2 minutes, first half stoppage time. Already in the books. Dev, if you're Paul Dalglish, what's the conversation at halftime other than, boys, we should be level?
It's energy output, number one. He needs more out of them. The recognition has to be quicker. The conversation is also going to be about the shape in the middle, because that's where they've really lost opportunities. I don't want to say control, because they've had some good movements themselves, but it's just a numbers game right now on the inside. You've got 6 midfielders at times clogging the inside, and then quickly you spring where a Jake Arman gets down to the left channel. Now he's paired up next to Joel Johnson just underneath. So they're having trouble tracking the numbers. Need to find a way that if you're going to play 2 holding midfielders, more of a conversation dropping a Francois, a Perez, or a De Silva down underneath, probably the latter, because right now there's too much chasing going on for a team that's too clinical on the ball. Mike Jeffrey's going to be happy with the fact that it is up 1-0, but that margin needs to grow. No lead is ever safe against a Miami FC squad.
The goal from Overton, the difference in the 12th minute, as Charlotte trying to close the gap here with Miami. Lengthy lightning delay at the outset. The fans who came out didn't get the thunder we promised. Some crunching tackles, phenomenal goal as well, and a couple of pushes and shoves. 1-0 Charlotte at halftime. Highlights, stats, and more coming up.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
There are currently 2 million American spouses and children whose family member was killed or disabled in defense of our country, which is why I founded the Folds of Honor, providing educational scholarships to the families of 1% of the Americans who protect our freedom.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Please join our squadron today. Your $13 a month speaks volumes and changes lives forever.
Duckworth's Grill and Tap House is your destination for great food. Duckworth's is open for dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Make sure you complete your order with an ice-cold Pepsi. Duckworth's is locally owned and operated. Pepsi.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Welcome back to halftime, presented by Novant Health. Memorial Stadium in downtown Charlotte. Independence taking on Miami FC. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr taking you through this Atlantic matchup, but also a pair of Atlantic Division matchups on the weekend. Let's preview the upcoming attractions, beginning with Tampa Bay and Hartford. Rowdies chasing down the #1 overall seed. They don't often concede goals either. Hartford just won against Monarchs. That was really big for them.
I'm going to piggyback off that good news because it's not just the win versus the Monarchs. They're home twice consecutively, the 25th and the 30th. The problem is you're playing the Tampa Bay Rowdies to start that stretch, who just set the shutout record, not in the USL Championship, in the United States. Record previous held by Houston Dynamo in 2007. Tampa Bay Rowdies just set it, and they're still going. Evan Laurel's back there. They got guys up top. They got guys in the back. Hartford Athletic, they're in a must-win. They cannot drop points down the stretch. This could be a 13-point gap when they play Charlotte next week.
Meanwhile, black and gold, but not a black-gold derby. This is Pittsburgh at home to take on Charleston. Pittsburgh still chasing the #1 seed in the Atlantic Division. Charleston trying to keep that playoff streak alive.
The only team to consecutively make the USL Championship playoffs in the modern era, set in 2011. They are in danger of hitting that 11th consecutive season, and they got to turn up the tempo now. They're in action tonight. Then they take on Pittsburgh on the weekend. The Rowdies, are they the #1? Pittsburgh would like to have a say in that. The problem is they've played so many more games. From a points perspective, there's a chance. It does look like Rowdies will get one, but will Charleston get in? This is a tough ask. Mike Anhauser and co have to get back on track and do it soon.
Well, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay feel pretty well assured of their spot in the playoffs. These two teams, however, much more tenuous grip. Plenty more coming up here from Charlotte after these messages.
Today, as you step onto the field, as you defend and attack, as you move swift, quick, like you were made for this, know that you do not do so alone. With each step, you run with all of the women before you and all of the women that will come after you. A stampede of mujeres blazing a trail on fire. Time cannot catch you. Para ti no existen los límites. You come from women that transformed pain into victory. Women that accepted impossible as a challenge. A challenge is brought to you and you do not turn away. Your journey today awaits you and you do not step down. You step into your purpose. You step strong. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
Tees it up, what a strike, and what a goal! Hartford has a goal!
He's right
right-footed shot, and it's in. Knocked away. Looking for Para. Could fall for an opportunity here. The shot comes in. Oh, it's brilliant.
Hey guys, this is Gabby Douglas. If you have an active lifestyle like me, hydration is key. That's why I love the Hydration Watermelon Smoothie from Smoothie King. With more electrolytes than some of the leading sports drinks, it's a cleaner way to hydrate and recover, with no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. So try the Hydration Watermelon Smoothie from Smoothie King. Order online for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Welcome back to halftime, presented by Novant Health, official healthcare provider of the Charlotte Independents. Charlotte 1, Miami 0. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr with you. Here we go. News and notes from the championship and beyond. USL Super League announced. If you want more information, go to uslsoccer.com or listen to USL All Access on the SiriusXM app. Betsy Haw joined us this week, the director of women's soccer operations for USL. Michi Galina to LAFC, Dev. You knew this for weeks. Are you surprised with the news?
Not surprised with the news. I want to see what he now does with the opportunity. Michi Galina, when you listen to Brendan Burke and the Philadelphia Union organization, a lot of people in the previous regime felt like he deserved more of an opportunity with Jim Curtin and the first team. That didn't happen. So now that you get a chance with Bob Bradley, can you go take advantage of that opportunity? Because they're talking about the purchase option at the end of this being the biggest we've ever seen come out of the USL Championship. I would love to see that happen.
Certainly so. Team of the week around the USL Championship is highlighted by the Clear Audio Player of the Week, Sebastian Guenzati. Haji Berry continues to pad his goal-scoring stats. While he doesn't own the single-season record yet, Devin, he did tie a record of Sebastian Guenzati and Cameron Lancaster's most first goals scored.
Sebastian Guenzati, by the way, has now become the Tampa Bay Rowdies' all-time leading scorer. Nice to see that. Chris Weehan and his brother Charlie scored in the same game. Obviously, Robbie Crawford, Aiden Quinn, my favorites in the midfield. How about Cody Cropper and what he's been able to do for 901 FC? They're not in it, but they're right there. He's keeping them close.
All right, and here's the upcoming schedule on ESPN Plus around the USL Championship. Couple games tonight to keep an eye on. Oakland and San Diego will air also on Sirius XM FC Channel 157. Schedule's brought to you by Hyatt Place.
How many teams are in a must-win right now? Every single team on the page.
Oh, okay.
See what I did there?
Yeah, okay.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Can RGV still make the playoffs?
It's starting to look slimmer and slimmer, those odds.
Austin Bold playing well. Wouldn't say that it's definitive that Ryan Thompson and Bold are in, but it's close. 901 FC, they are right on the cusp of it. They are tracking down Energy FC. Here's the thing. You look at a team like El Paso, who's got games in hand but sitting in first. 901 FC have games in hand, but they're chasing Energy FC. There's more pressure there. Most coaches will tell you they'd rather have the points than have the games and have to chase it down.
Yep, true enough. Both these teams are in playoff position right now, and with a Salvadoran shirt on, perhaps even the Charlotte fans are paying attention to Joshua Perez and Miami FC. 1-0 Charlotte, however, here at the break. We'll tell you about Jake Arman's grandfather and first half highlights as well on the other side of the break.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Fun fact, you know Mountain Dew and spicy chicken is the perfect combo?
Does it look like I don't know that?
Okay. Didn't mean to ruffle your feathers.
You know, we both did the employee training, Gary.
Okay, don't jump down my beak.
Doing spicy? Do the do.
There are currently 2 million American spouses and children whose family member was killed or disabled in defense of our country, which is why I founded the Folds of Honor, providing educational scholarships to the families of 1% of the Americans who protect our freedom.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Thank you for supporting the Fold of Honor.
Please join our squadron today. Your $13 a month speaks volumes and changes lives forever.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Welcome back to Charlotte tonight. Charlotte Independence taking on the Miami FC. Halftime highlights are coming up, but first, all season long in partnership with Folds of Honor, we've highlighted the Veteran of the Match presented by Famous Toastery. Tonight's Veteran of the Match and grandfather to Independence player Jake Arman, Alan Arman. Alan joined the U.S. Navy in 1952, served 3 years including active duty in the Korean War. While in the Navy, Alan climbed to the rank of second-class petty officer. During his service, Alan earned the Marksman Ribbon and the Korean War Ribbon. He met his angelic wife, Lenore Arman, during the Korean War at a USO dance. That glance across the dance floor ultimately led to the family they created today, including Charlotte Independence midfielder Jake Arman. Tonight, Alan Arman, we salute you and thank you for your service to our country. Let's take a look at first half highlights now. They're brought to you by Duckworth's Grill and Tap House. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr back with you. Charlotte jumping on the board here first after it very much appeared like Miami had. Alas, Irvin Para, the little tip back there from Marveau, Orbutan, blah.
Think about how different things are for the Charlotte Independence right now compared to what we saw at the beginning of the season. Very linear. Went from A to B to C. Now the rotation that you get, whether it's coming through the midfield, you've got Irvin Parra up top you can play off of, Marveau coming through the middle, and then guys like Enzo Martinez and Oberton that can finish things off. The 1-0 lead is great. And even though the possession is in favor of Miami FC, the better form has actually been from Charlotte Independence. Still, the argument will be this game is far from over because last time in the 2-2, the Independents were better. They let this team hang around, and at the tail end of it, Miami FC were able to grab a late goal. They grab a point and get out of here. Coming into the match, Paul Dalglish admitted, this is about them getting a point, that it's more of a must-win for the Charlotte Independents than it is for Miami FC. They have that within their sights with 45 minutes to go.
And Devin, conversely, it sounded in speaking to Mike Jeffries and to Paul Dalglish, the changes at halftime in the last game made a pretty significant dent in favor of Miami FC. Can they do it again tonight as we kick off the second half this evening in Charlotte?
We are back to the action on the pitch, so fans, let's hear it. Come on, you Jacks.
Jacks fans spring to attention as the second half begins. Charlotte with 3 points tonight would move just 2 points off Miami in the standings. They'd be on 40. Miami currently on 42. Miami is in the ultimate no man's land right now. 10 points out of first, 12 points from the playoff line. You fancy their chances to make the postseason. It's just in which slot they'll eventually fall. All the while, we could see a team clinch tonight in the championship rather this coming weekend, right?
They are one of the few teams around the entire USL Championship, though, Mike, before I answer that, whose style look very similar both home and away. There are a lot of teams that once they venture away from the friendly confines of their home venue, they don't look the same.
Bring receipts, Devin.
Fair enough. To your other point, if San Diego Loyal come away with a victory tonight, the first team to clinch a playoff spot would be Phoenix Rising in the Pacific Division. Shocking, to say the least. Again,
no one could have seen that coming.
Never. That's a bet that you would never put money on. much better here. So even when you have a mismatch in numbers, which the Independents do, if you keep the ball moving and moving fast, nothing they can do about that.
Perez, that's a nice grab there by Pack. Doing his best McCaffrey impression.
Mike Jeffries is going to have a problem on his hands when Brendan Miller gets fit. What do you do? Goalkeeper was in form at the start of the season. They had some troubles defensively. Wouldn't give all of that to issues at the goalkeeping position. Austin Pack stepping in. Full game, 4 shutouts. Not bad numbers.
Baggio. On down to Perez, his first start for Miami, 3rd appearance. Cut back taken by Riascos, the turn by Martinez. There's Paco Craig. Lost by De Silva. He was a bit lackadaisical on taking possession. Mike Jeffries asking Joel Johnson to get a little bit higher here, and he's also inverting down the center of the field. Oberton over Johnson. Marveau sets this up, and it's deflected in front of goal by Craig. Brant Bronico doesn't show up on the stat sheet much. Nearly did here.
Little surprised that Joel Johnson doesn't time this better, but how about the run on the back post by Marveau? He had drifted so far wide, Miami FC had lost him. Then he gets a second bite, brings it all the way back across. There are just too many options right now for the Charlotte Independents moving forward. Tracking runners left and right. Troublesome for Miami FC.
Chick-fil-A corner. Service across is plucked out of the air by Sparrow. Sparrow and Riascos becoming buddy-buddy. You know, I asked Paul Dalglish to tell me something I didn't know about Sparrow, and he said his hair grows very fast.
Some kind of response. I was so taken back by that. We've heard some interesting things out of coaches over the years, but that one...
It's just so obvious. To which Paul Dalglish and I had a conversation about the fact that what we'd give to have hair like that, and how time is ultimately the mortal enemy of the gradually balding.
How about you just took it in stride and said, yeah, I'll remember to ask him about that next time we see each other in person. Look at him. Oh. I used to have hair like that.
I know you did. That's a true story.
I don't miss it because I lost it. I just don't have long hair anymore.
And now your wife cuts it in a bowl, and it's just nothing's what it used to be.
All of a sudden, there's Jim Carrey references left and right, and drive around in a limo for no reason.
Craig. I once had hair down to my shoulders, too, so it's not a lost cause here, Dev. You and I are 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, except you were a professional athlete. Anywho, attack is on here for Miami. The cut back to Baggio. This is Para blasting in needlessly.
Smart by Akinyoti. He feels the pressure coming. Just a tiny touch. That's a seasoned professional right there. Any sort of contact whatsoever, you can go to ground. Don't blame him for that. See Paco Craig all the way on the backside. Haven't been able to connect on outside of that first opportunity in 10 minutes that got called back. Another one pushed away.
Para fouled by an outlandish boot.
Say something, Mike.
You heard it. They were talking to you.
Nope, not a word. Sounds like the fourth official is making sure there's no missed commentary from the Independence head coach.
Notice how high defensively just now Akinyode as he comes into your picture. What about the center of your screen in the center circle? Little push high on Enzo Martinez, eliminated the pass through the middle. Those are the movements as you start to apply a bit of pressure to the Independents. It's not a full-out press. It's more about having higher numbers, a higher line. I talked in the first half about how he and Speedy Williams too many a time were sitting right next to each other, so it was easier for the Independents to play off through the midfield. You could go to Marveau, Martinez and Bronigo constantly collecting.
Well, Johnson won't get there because Paco Craig intervened. Sparrow under so much pressure. Marveau stepped in front of De Silva. Walker now. Perez. De Silva slices this back. As far as Johnson with time and space. We've seen countless little misconnections between Irvin Parra and Marveau at this stage. If those two click, I mean, you're still talking Marveau's played 12 games, Parra's played 23. The grand scheme of things, you're talking about a month and a half worth of working together. There's a lot more time that usually takes to get to top class in terms of communication, chemistry.
If Sylvain Marveau, if he can continue with this type of form, they get into the playoffs and Charlotte makes a run, he could go to the double-double. I understand that we're now progressing into postseason play. 4 goals and 3 assists through 12 games.
He's on pace. If he played the full year. I mean, Devin, I think there's starting to be a bit of a murmur here. You mentioned if Charlotte gets to the playoffs, if they make a run. It's looking more and more likely by the day. This is turned over here. Walker cuts it across to Silva! A picture worth 1,000 words. Staggering.
The turnover from their leader and talisman, Enzo Martinez, as it comes back. Where is it going after from Hugh Roberts? Because Martinez is trying to pick out a center back. It's not a bad idea. Roberts just gives it right back. We have seen that a couple of times this season, but how? Oh, how does this not end up as the second goal on the season for Pierre De Silva, coming back from injury in the first on the night for Miami FC?
It sure looked, and you hear Paul Dalglish say we'll get the next one. That's 2 goals where XG probably should be about 1.8.
Mike, I was already barking to the producer about what I wanted to see on the turnover for this goal. Just assumed that was an easy tap-in.
It seemed to skip up on the turf just a bit. Baggio. Akinyode. And there was a deflection from the defender before that got to De Silva as well, but still. Fuchs?
Well, the player of that quality, you expect better out of him. Regardless of the elements and what's going on, everybody else is dealing with the same thing and really haven't been an issue, to be fair. There is a much better understanding of their roles here in the second half, though. These 10 minutes for the Miami FC so far, great. Notice the build-up, much quicker. The ideas, just keep it moving. See the little steps to the inside, Mike. Great overlapping on the outside. Right now, what you're seeing from Miami FC, this is vintage.
Speedy Williams.
This is exactly what Paul Dalglish wants.
Fans, make sure you check out the all-new United We Play merchandise at the official merch trailer and display by the front gates. We've got a full line of scarves, hats, shirts, and gifts to fit every budget.
Fans, on Saturday, October 16th, the Independents will be working with kit sponsor Novant Health to drive awareness and raise money for the fight against breast cancer. Join us as we wear special kits when we face the Charleston Battery in a Southern Derby with playoff implications. That's October 16th here at American Legion Memorial Stadium. Devin, have you seen those kits yet? Take a minute.
Talking to me?
Yep. They're worth a good long look and then worth being bought.
1v1.
And an important cause as well. Baggio.
That's the most important thing right there. Well said, sir.
You a kitophile?
Used to be.
It's when you were collecting opponent skins.
Yeah, it was better.
Back in the day.
I have almost nothing that I played in. I think I've probably got 3 jerseys.
It's so easy for me to suggest that you didn't stay anywhere long enough to have more kits than that, but alas.
No, if anything, I should have more because I went to more places. You bring that heat.
Complete Construction Services presents Miami's first 2 substitutions. Ageless wonder Ariel Martinez replaces Pierre da Silva. You can see he's still shaking his head. He's still in some measure of disbelief. He was unable to get that goal. And if his side can't get the result tonight, he'll surely be frustrated on the bus ride home. And then Billy Forbes on for Perez. 59 minutes for Joshua Perez in his first start for the club, Devin. What did you see out of the young Salvadoran international?
Struggled to find rhythm. He's got a tremendous amount of talent underneath him. And whether it's been his brief time with LAFC where we saw 15 appearances, a nice goal and an assist, went on loan for a couple within the USL Championship at Phoenix Rising. I've seen him a lot with El Salvador, and at every single stop, you could see the ideas are there. It's, can he truly create a quality relationship with the players around him? And unfortunately for him, wasn't able to do it tonight. I'm not worried about that long term, though. That's just reps and getting more acclimated to your surroundings, more training sessions, which, to be fair, they haven't had a lot of because of the frequency of games.
Here comes Charlotte charging forward. Parra making a run. He's not the only one. Martinez leading Parra. Ran out of real estate. Appeal for a handball. Crowd starts to roar. On initial glance, I'm inclined to agree with the referee in this moment.
That was really close to the body. No call.
Martinez denied by Riascos.
I'm very careful here if I'm Miami FC. They've done such a good job working their way back into the match, Mike. Past 3 minutes. As the game starts to stretch here, don't chase. The tacticians that they have to be able to put all the pieces together, they need to stay down that route. If it goes one way and there's space to be had, feel free to step into it, but you don't want to overexpose yourself too much because that's where the Charlotte Independents can take advantage as well.
If you're looking for a little Greek and a little Southern and always fresh, enjoy a great meal and an ice-cold Pepsi at your local Showmars. Sign me up.
I think I mentioned this a couple of games ago. Did you know that Pepsi was from the Carolinas?
I did not.
Neither did I. That was actually on the Charlotte-Hartford game. I was unaware. That's when I found out.
That's when you found out.
Correct. We had a very deep discussion about where soft drinks originated from and what we liked most out of those reference points. Coke in Atlanta came up. Cheerwine came up. Salisbury.
I wasn't going to name any competitors. I was just going to suggest that
it's just more of a history lesson. It's not a competitor.
ATL UTD2 likely has a different sponsorship.
There you go.
If I had to guess.
You're the guy that when we set up for a set piece, you touch it to me. I'm a bit more direct.
Mm-hmm.
Hands in the air, I'm calling your number. Otherwise, free for all.
Forbes runs out of real estate. Next thing you know, you're going to be talking about Pollo Tropical instead of Shomars, and all of a sudden the night is lost, Dev.
I'd still like to see a bit more from these set-piece situations for Miami FC, though. Still haven't connected. Short on all of them, too. Got to get this thing up in the air.
Chick-fil-A corner kick. There's Pack. Splays forward athletically. Here's Robert Baggio, the 27-year-old from New York. Martinez, there's the turn. Walker seeking space. Roberts had him marked brilliantly. Martinez. Overton. Baggio. Flicks this forward. Forbes. Forbes dancing. There's Riascos. Devin, there's something I've been meaning to tell you.
Yep.
A new era of Division II professional women's soccer begins in 2023 with the introduction of the USL Super League. Head over to uslsoccer.com/USL Super League to learn more.
Good touch.
Johnson from Marveau. Headed back and in! A brutal own goal for Miami. Palacios puts this over the line. In a game of such magnitude tonight for Charlotte Independence, they're 2-0 up.
To be fair, it was brilliant football by the Independents. Bronico had come to the outside, trying to get the run down in from Johnson as Marveau inverts here. Watch him on the peel off and goes right down into the corner. Great little sprint in, and then just take this to the back post. Find the trailing run, and you don't find it. Instead, Palacios, the question coming in, who was going to be the outside back? He was the choice. You got to feel for him here. It's not a bad idea. The problem is the communication's not there, nor is the ball back. It's got to be more direct to Sparrow. He's not expecting it. Neither was Charlotte, but they'll take it any way they can get it. Add a little cushion with 25 to go.
Miami making a couple changes. Charlotte has now as well. See how McFarland trots on.
And entering the match for the Independents, number 8, Marcelo Palomino.
Well, Palacios.
And number 16, Jose Vizama.
And you'd say De Silva as well are both going to walk away tonight. Plenty frustrated. This is a Miami team, 9 unbeaten, and that stretch very much appears in jeopardy, if not in a mortal tailspin at this stage.
Not that someone would directly question it, but there was always a game plan coming in that around the 60-65 minute mark, he was going to change his outside backs. We knew that coming in. It just so happens that it comes off a catastrophic mistake from Palacios. You get fresh legs on the outside now, but we knew that was going to take place, Mike.
Subs are brought to you by Complete Construction Services. Palomino replaces Overton, who got his first goal for the side. Jose Bismo make his 4th appearance for the club, 3rd off the bench, the loanee from Houston. Replaces Marveau, who was marvelous yet again.
I want to see if they flatten this out and go with 4 now. They were great defensively against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And they played 4 at the back the whole game, kept good width. But with the tendencies by Mike Jeffries. From a substitution standpoint, will he pull, Bisma back and keep Fora? Will he allow him to stay a bit higher than expected?
See, Luba's come on for Chapman Page. Gatorade is scientifically researched and game tested for athletes like your Jacks. When you need hydration, choose the official isotonic sports drink of the Charlotte Independents. Gatorade. Rolls all the way past Forbes. Luba. Luba. Martinez. Walker. Walker trying to create. Don't count Miami out yet.
It's not bad. This is not a bad idea from Miami FC. There's the just raw talent of Lamar Walker trying to take over. Gets really close too. The tiniest bit of separation right at the top of the 18. Pivots on a dime.
Para grappling at the lower back area. Doesn't really have a true backup tonight with Dane Kelly unavailable.
It's a really interesting role that they're asking Joel Johnson to play. About 20 minutes to go. Palomino and Bronico have, of course, become the duo on the bottom half. A little bridge there by Sion McFarland. To be fair, McFarland's moving away from the play. Parr just mistimes it. But as Enzo Martinez steps in front of him, it's not really a triangle because Joel Johnson is just off the right shoulder of him. That was where Sylvain Marveau was playing for the majority of the game. Bisma has moved into that wingback style role for Mike Jeffries. If you watch, they create this box and then flatten out, and it's what's been so difficult to break down over the course of this match, though. Second half here would say that Miami FC, because of the rapidity of play, have been much better.
Charlotte goes back to their bench with 20 minutes to go. Adam Armour comes in, the 18-year-old, who's on loan from Charlotte FC. Replaces Jake Arman. Substitution presented by Complete Construction Services.
It's a great shift by Jake Arman. You have to admire the pieces around him as well, whether it's the loanees who probably have a better understanding of the game, at least at this point in their careers, than guys like Enzo Martinez, Marveau, Gabriel Oberton, to continue to really give that leadership view, Mike. More importantly, it's a humility to help a young player along throughout his career. Jake Arman is one of my favorite players on this team because of all of the things that he's asked to do and has successfully done over the years.
Martinez has an inkling, and now he leads it forward. Bisma back across, skied in the air. It was aimed toward Johnson, and Sparrow collects. Header away, taken on by Enzo Martinez with Ariel Martinez in pursuit. Dev, let's go back to where we were a bit ago. Charlotte, if they make the playoffs, and it's looking more and more assured, you're starting to see the pieces come together in a way that should scare just about everybody in the Eastern Conference.
In the league. Go a step further, Mike. Don't sell them short. How many times have you and I seen over the past couple of years that 10-game mark, right? That's the mark where teams turn the corner, they get healthy, they add a couple of pieces, some of which may only help you out in certain situations, but it seems to be like, oh, here's the highlight man down the stretch. But instead, the Charlotte Independents have added players that have had success at the highest of levels.
Lamar Walker out, Adonijah Reed on, sub brought to you by Complete Construction Services. That's the 5th and final change for Miami.
They can take down and have successfully the Rowdies, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Miami FC.
If you are who you beat.
Now we're getting all philosophical on me.
At this stage, Charlotte is becoming the team to beat. And let's say this, they were beaten twice by the bottom 2 teams in this division. They left points on the table against teams that, frankly, have seemingly given points to everybody else at 3 a game.
That's my argument for the Riverhounds. Not just because of conversations with Bob Lilly, but the eye tests, the metrics, you watch the ball movement. That's the best I've seen a Bob Lilly coach team look. The problem is they haven't done it against some of the superior opposition. They haven't looked regular in their performances against the Rowdies, against Charlotte, against Miami. Still, they're sitting in second. If I have to pick one right now, I'm leaning towards the boys in blue.
Thrown in here, and Enzo Martinez run over by Paco Craig. An update from elsewhere in the league, Devin. Red Bulls 2 knocks off Charleston 3-2 tonight. Archer scores in the 80th minute to get it back within 1. Charleston outpossesses, outshoots, doesn't matter. Red Bull 2 goals from Serge Ngoma, Jake LaCava, and Jeremy Raffanello pick up a huge division-shaking win tonight in the Atlantic.
Even with the 1 game in hand on the Independents, if they can win that game, it's still 7-point gap with 8 games to go.
We've seen some wild things, but they also have Hartford to deal with too. It's not as simple as just jump the 1 team. There's another hot on their heels.
Second ball.
They play Pittsburgh twice, they play the Rowdies twice, they play the Independents, they play Miami.
It's there.
That's not the schedule that you want to look at.
But it is there out in front of them in theory.
If you can beat them, you're chasing everybody in front of you, absolutely. If.
And think back 4 games ago with Charlotte, because about 3 weeks ago, we were in a very different universe. It was much tighter at that point in time, so get by Bisma. You looked ahead for Charlotte's upcoming 4 games. At Loudoun, home to Hartford, home to Pittsburgh, home to Miami. And we said this 3-game homestand may decide the fate of their season. Well, they're about to go 5 unbeaten, and in that span take 13 out of 15 points. It did make their season.
And those 4, they could have gone 1-3. Outside of the Loudoun game, they could have lost every other game, but they didn't. They beat Hartford. They beat the Riverhounds. They are in front of Miami FC. Think about the recent blemish. You know, they lost to the Rowdies on August 28th.
If that's your biggest problem these days,
you're doing just fine.
The Rowdies on a, is it 7-match winning streak now? 6?
8 games in a row. 8 shutouts running.
We've gone, is it 801 minutes, you said, without conceding?
They've gone 801 minutes, 8 shutouts in a row. They just set the United States record, which was previously held by Major League Soccer team Houston Dynamo of 721 consecutive minutes back in 2007. The Rowdies have, of course, eclipsed that. You look at the goalkeeper, Evan Loro, 13 individual shutouts. The record, by the way, Maxime Crépeau and his beautiful play back in 2018 for Ottawa Fury and Nikola Popovich.
That,
good
however,
were they then?
Was a Canadian record.
They were fantastic.
But guess who was on that Houston team? Paul Dalglish.
Oh, there you go.
True story.
And guess what that Houston team did?
Won the MLS
Won
Cup
the
back-to-back.
whole thing, absolutely.
Akinyoti's speaking with the official. Para. Ooh. Offside flag is up.
Play it forward! Look at the space! Get them turned!
Meanwhile, if you're Miami, you had a chance to make up some real ground on Pittsburgh. You watch Charlotte beat Pittsburgh, but you take a draw from the game against the Battery and then potentially lose tonight. Let's take a look at tonight's Save the Game. It's brought to you by Big Ben Pub. And for Charlotte, it's Pack. It's, well, the save that kept Charlotte in it early from Perez.
Speedy Williams with the wondrous idea. Don't really think Speedy Williams gets enough credit outside of Miami FC and what he does in the Atlantic.
And at some point, we may argue that Pack isn't getting nearly enough credit either. He's come up with a couple of pretty timely saves along the way tonight.
One of the issues you run into for him is the saves that he's making are great, Mike, even from distance. How about the front three? Occupying that space about 15 yards from him. Christian Fuchs, Kevin Riascos.
Uh-oh, Sparrow being spun around. Craig pirouettes away from pressure. He gave it away, but that's the least of their problems.
What is going on back there tonight for Miami FC? 2-0, trying to dig a deeper hole.
Martinez. Fuchs. Bronico. Bizema. Johnson. Ooh, Joel Johnson. Suave.
Easy. You're going to hurt someone's feelings.
Bronico. Bizema. It's a beautiful build-up as it stands. Lost here by Para. Para slides in. Referee says play on.
That's late. Watch out.
Akinyote. That's going to be a yellow. Akinyote's been involved in a couple of heated conversations tonight. Akinyote does not have a yellow card yet.
This is a response. It's a message being sent by Akinyote. They didn't like it, Miami FC, for the lack of a call on the other side. That's going to be the argument for Dalglish just seconds prior. Studs up here, comes across. I got to tell you, that looks lateral, not from behind. And then when you come back on the follow-through, it doesn't look like he catches that much. But when you got those 1.5-inch long studs on the bottom, just a little nick of your foot can send thriving pain through your entire body.
Yellow card by Devil's Logic Brewing. Para. Akinyote.
Run away, Chris!
Sparrow. Devin, let me slap you with a cliche here. Goals change games. Miami probably felt they should have been ahead. It was a very, very tight offside call from my vantage point. They wiped their opening goal off the board. It's minutes later that they concede to Overton in the 12th. This game could have been very different tonight. Forbes, there's still something to salvage here for Miami. A goal here soon, and suddenly they're right in the thick of it. Riascos. It's a thin crowd tonight, Devin, due to the lightning that likely kept some people away. This match started close to an hour late, but it hasn't been one without life. Attack is on. 3 Independence players making their runs. It's Johnson.
Let me ask you this much. 7 and change to go here. You would imagine that, given how good the Charlotte Independents have been defensively, they should see this out. Can they grab the 2 spot? They hold the mathematic advantage on Miami for the 3.
This is caught here by Pack. Look at their upcoming schedule: at Birmingham, at Hartford. And while those 2 teams may not be in top peak form right now, they're still road games. It's the 3 home games to close: Loudoun, Red Bull, Charleston. The points are there. The points are there for the taking to go make a run at this if you're Charlotte.
They play Loudoun twice, by the way.
They do.
That October 30th game at Austin gets real interesting for me.
For both sides.
Yes, absolutely. That could be a playoff berth for Austin and that 2 spot we're asking about.
Para, that deflects. He was curling for glory. Player down in the middle of the field. Miami will race forward despite the injured Charlotte player. Riascos looks, fires this out of play. That's Bronico. Bronico really looks hampered.
This is a late tackle in behind. He turns over. Adonijah Reed was tracking right at the center circle. Just watch the follow through. Again,
that's the second time
he's leaned right into it. He's sticking his foot out in front of it. There is contact. You hope he's okay, is the most important thing. But he does step right into it. Just sticks his leg out in front of the run of Reed. You can't blame Adonijah Reed here.
No. If you're Brant Bronico, there's got to be, at some point, a measure of self-preservation that comes into mind, especially in a game like this where you're up 2-0.
Right there. I mean, you can see his movement. His hips open up, slides the leg out.
Dev, when you're on the field, there's not a ton of people here tonight. Am I wrong in saying you do feel footsteps coming in like that?
You feel them. You hear them when there's 15,000 people in the stands.
Yeah.
It's different. Ground level is different, but to your point, it's much easier to recognize it in these situations.
You just have to think Bronico was aware.
Well, here's the other thing about it. Have I leaned in like that before? Absolutely. I'm not about to stick my knee out in front of it, though. That's what got me next to you in the first place.
No. Para. Bizima.
Just play keep away now.
Johnson, here he goes. Well, if you're Miami, you're likely infuriated by this. Bizima trying to get in behind Luba.
Watch the tackles fly, though.
Back to Para. There's the slide in and away by Sparrow.
That's a yellow card!
Hey, Devin, there's something I suggested earlier, but I really want to drive home now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Gatorade is scientifically researched and game tested for athletes like your Jacks. When you need hydration, choose the official isotonic sports drink of the Charlotte Independents. Gatorade.
Great move. There's the little magician, Ariel Martinez, on the inside. Let's talk about Miami's schedule, Mike, and what they've got going for them, as really struggled to get back into it over the last 15 minutes or so.
This is a return to Luba. Slices this back. Roberts to ground, able to get that away. Devin Loudon, Pittsburgh. Loudon, Pittsburgh. That's patty cheese in this.
Stack it any way you want. Either way, it doesn't mix.
Substitution coming. Complete Construction Services presents Valentin Sabella for Brant Bronico.
But 3 out of 4 at home.
Yep.
Only one of those is on the road. That's Sunday, October 10th, 1 p.m. Segra Field at Loudon. Rowdies away. Battery away.
That's likely to be a battery on their last leg at this point. If you're Miami, are those 2 Pittsburgh games must wins? If you want to get to the 2nd seed, probably.
To get the 2 seed, absolutely.
Yeah. To make the playoffs, I still think Miami's in the catbird seat.
Well, that's just easy to do, simple math. Right now with the game in hand, if they win their next game, they go to 45 points, just 2 points back of Pittsburgh even on games, which means if you win those 2, you jump in front. Now, what does the rest of it look like? You've still got work to do, because the Pittsburgh Riverhounds are thinking, okay, maybe there's a stretch to chase down the number 1. I don't see that happening against the Rowdies and the way that they're playing right now. At least you don't think it. Anything's possible. The way 2021 is going, the parity within this league, Mike.
Johnson seeking Para.
Nothing surprises me anymore. Because think about what the Pittsburgh Riverhounds close with. Battery, home. At Miami twice, we just talked about that.
Yep.
They've also got to deal with the Rowdies. Battery, Hartford. That's no cakewalk either.
Nope.
These teams, Rowdies want the 1. Miami wants the 2. Hartford and Battery want in.
Whoa. Armour goes to ground, and there's just a little extracurricular. Armour's trying to cover it up and knock more time off, but again, self-preservation.
Easy, Paco. Dalglish would like to keep you around for the
next match or 2.
Couple of games. Yeah, I mean, that little step in could get you more.
Look, there's an element you said with Akinyoti's tackle. That's a message.
Oh, this is just frustration now.
Yeah,
I've been there where there's no magic, right? There have been some very good moments for Miami FC within this game. The problem is the Independents definitely had more. They were more threatening in the final third. Now, you can make the argument, as you said, goals change games. At the beginning, if that ball goes into the back of the net, this could be a very different outcome. The referee didn't see it that way.
And whether it's a different outcome or not is in some ways irrelevant. This ball rolled outside. Martinez continues. Martinez to ground, referee gestures. They got the ball there. Luba. Forbes. In the first of 4 minutes of stoppage, Forbes crossing. Turning effort. Akinyoti wins a corner. At minimum, the game is played differently. Whether
after the fact you referenced.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that.
Whether Charlotte scores 2 goals in the end, it's easy to look back and say, well, okay, Miami led 1-0, but Charlotte would win 2-1. It's not like that. Where does this stand in terms of wins for Charlotte?
Another one. Just
okay.
Chalk it up.
Would you argue the win against Pittsburgh is among their best?
Yeah. I think it's better. Just because of the overall performance from the start of the game to the finish of the game, they were in complete control. never truly threatened. You can't say that here about the Miami game.
Is that a penalty for you?
Studs up.
To me, you could argue this should be, again, another very different discussion. Mike Jeffries looks none too happy on the touchline, in part due to the injured player down.
He gets a touch on the ball first, though. That's a much better angle. When I saw it live, I wondered. The first replay looks like he gets body, but that replay right there is a much better idea of what happened in real time. His right boot gets the ball, then follow through. He's not in a negative spot. He's coming from a lateral space. That's easily allowed in the rule book.
That's good coverage from our director, Jonathan Tellicher, and producer, Rena Dolan tonight. Ball across here, Chick-fil-A corner. This is hammered toward frame from a long way out by Speedy Williams. And that sure looked online to be dangerous. Sparrow is out of his net. Charlotte wants to move here. Sparrow trying to get back to goal, and they're going to bring play back. They're going to bring it back because Charlotte was trying to throw that about 8 yards further up the field. Whoa. You know, Devin, it's not often you say the fourth time was the charm, but indeed this was the best of the – maybe the result for Miami they're not going to appreciate in hindsight, but this game had a little bit of everything in it. Riascos has returned. Half a minute to go or so. Martinez knocks that wide. There's the service. Reed, Forbes. Forbes navigating. Came off Riascos. They'll let this corner play out. For Miami, it was 9 unbeaten. That's going to end tonight. One of the most informed teams in the league. Ball bounces all the way across. That is a dynamic finish, but that is Miami's night summed up in a nutshell. It's offside.
I don't see it again. Hugh Roberts is standing at the top of the 6. I do not see it. You can't argue the player on the bottom of the screen. They're not involved in the play, so as this ball comes back out, watch it get hit. You can't argue Ariel Martinez. He's not involved. Roberts is the top of the 6. I honestly don't have words, Mike. You can't tell him. There's 5 yards in between the ball and the defender. You don't have to say anything. I see the look. I'll do it for us. Don't worry.
Paul Dalglish is going to be rubbing his temples all the way home.
And to get it to 2-1 with a makeshift ball at the end of it, who knows if this ends up in their possession still. There are too many what-ifs right now for Miami to come out of it and say, well, this could have been a draw. No, you haven't been the better team. It hasn't even been close. Were you hard done by some of the referees' decisions? Yes. But to your point, if one goal drops here, it's a very different game. Charlotte Independence handled their business. They are now the team that is in the better run of form within the Atlantic as opposed to Miami.
Yep, 5 unbeaten now, Irvin Parra. Man of the match presented by Noda Brewing Company. Parra Kikog in the Independence machine that wins tonight 2-0. Paul Dalglish has good things to say to Irvin Parra, and handshakes with the referees as well. Dignified conclusion. 2-0 Charlotte. We wrap it up on the other side of the break.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Duckworth's Grill and Tap House is your destination for great food. Duckworth's is open for dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Make sure you complete your order with an ice-cold Pepsi. Duckworth's is locally owned and operated. Pepsi.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Welcome back to the post-game. Paul Dalgleish and Miami will be frustrated. Charlotte gets the first goal from Gabriel Oberton. In the 12th minute, they win it 2-0. Let's take you back to the refereeing decision in stoppage time just to tie up a loose end. We made reference to believing that this was indeed onside. This, however, is the offside. The flag's already up here.
Yeah, we started from a more advanced position, we'll say, in the replay. And when you get a look from here, which is where we started, you don't see anybody because Martinez is not involved. But it's the actual touch back to Adonijah Reed when he plays the 1-2 off Billy Forbes, excuse me. When that comes back out, he's in the offside position. Hugh Roberts still in the same spot. Didn't matter.
Yep. Duckworth's Grill and Tap House post-game highlights. And it's Para helping to create. Marveau, the touchback. Oberton, 12th minute. He's in the record books. He scored now.
Not sure there's any better vision right now in the USL Championship in terms of how to break teams down than there is from Sylvain Marveau. Finds one of his best butts. He's the reason that Oberton ended up here. Fantastic read, by the way. If you get an opportunity, go check out Charlotte Independence. They put the whole video up. What they didn't put up was the scouting report that this is going to be gifted to them on the second goal. Palacios in the back of his own net. Connor Sparrow not on the same page. 2-0 for the Charlotte Independence. A well-deserved victory.
Full-time highlights, Duckworth's Grill and Tap House. Full-time stats brought to you by Famous Toastery. Devin, chance for your final thoughts.
There was an article put out about a week ago that the Charlotte Independence were a dark horse. That's a misnomer. They are not a dark horse. They are not here to stay. This team is a force to be reckoned with. And with this form right now, getting healthy, getting a couple of pieces back to add to depth, this team, given a shot in the playoffs, can make a run at a title.
Yep, this is a contender. These were two contenders we saw. One last look at the Birdsong Brewing Company standings. They are updated now. Charlotte, 10 points clear of Charleston, who fell to New York tonight. Charlotte, some key games coming up against the teams beneath them, can clarify their place in the postseason in just a couple of games. Meanwhile, Miami can't close the gap on Pittsburgh. Charlotte just 2 points off Miami for the third seed, which would force them into a matchup against the number 2 in the Central come playoff time. They waited and waited. It was about an hour of thunder and lightning, and finally they got this game underway. Tackles crunching and flying all over the place. Oberton, the opening goal, and an own goal doubles the advantage. Charlotte wins it 2-0 for our entire NEP Vista World Link crew, led by producer Karina Dolan, director Jonathan Telcher, Miguel Manella, Hannah Reyes, Devin Kerr alongside Mike Watts saying thanks for watching and have a good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.